episode.
It brings a tear to my eyes.
Yo, what's up guys? Yeah, it has been long, like me making a very serious video. I mean serious in terms of explaining a lot of facts, because most of my videos have been nightlife, more of like showing you things than me talking, you know. So I decided, let me do this video just to talk and let you know exactly what I think of this one main question. People ask me this question: should I go to Cuba or Colombia? Cuba or Colombia? I'm telling you, I've received over, I think, 300 messages asking me this, and that's why I said, man, maybe it's time I did a video about that. Yeah, actually, let's first roll the introduction, okay? Yeah.
All I need is you, baby, baby.
Welcome to Colombia!
All I need is you, baby, baby. Over.
So welcome back to this YouTube channel, and if it's your first time here, kindly subscribe. My name is Marwa, and today I'll be presenting you, is it Cuba or Colombia? Yeah. And actually, I should say this: in anything that you do, in any decision that you make in terms of travel, number one thing is, what is your purpose? What is your aim? Why are you traveling? What do you want to achieve? Why do you want to go to those places, you know? Like, if you answer that question correctly as you as a person, then you have the reason to go. Because other people go to places just to see like nature, mountains, rivers, physical features, you know what I mean? Other people go to places just to experience the people, the culture, the food. Other people want to go to places because they want to see some beautiful girls. They want to date, you know, they want to change the environment. Maybe people are like tired of their own, you know what I mean, own in terms of, let's say, you think like maybe your town or your city girls are not such good, or maybe boys, because I have to be very specific. This YouTube channel has gained both females and male in the last like 1 week in equal measures. So anytime I make videos, I have to consider both sides, like females and male. So but let's first start with the males. So if you guys are going like to go and look for females in Cuba or Colombia, it's actually upon you. And this is what I think. Cuban people are very open, but they're still like so behind. No disrespect, I'm just saying from my point of view, you know, and you know, maybe I could be wrong, but this is how I look at Cuba, because I stayed in Cuba, I met people, I did interviews with people, I went in the streets, I tried many things, you know, in Cuba, yeah. And just to be honest, I met some Cuban girls too in Cuba, and this is what I felt from an honest opinion. Cuba is a country where you go and everything is undefined. Like, for example, things that for you see like they are so normal, in Cuba they are not normal. For example, let's say people having WhatsApp on their cell phones. For you, you may think, oh, hey, give me your WhatsApp number. Hey, what's this? What, you know, it looks so normal. But in Cuba, you find a girl, a very beautiful girl. You ask her, hey, what's up? She's so smiley, super like positive. So like, okay, give me your WhatsApp number, and she'd be like, you know, I don't have even a cell phone. And she write for you somewhere and tell you, look, this is my direction. Tomorrow, let's meet at 6 p.m. exactly at this corner. Like me, I met this one beautiful girl, and that's what she told me. Like, that's the only way I would have seen her the following day. So you see here, maybe in this other side of the world, we are very easy on WhatsApp. You'd be like, hey, what's up? You know, I'm getting out of my house. Let's meet at the corner. And it's like so smooth. In Cuba, things are different. Things are super, super different. But in terms of logistics, you know, like the hassle of just you reaching that girl. So in Colombia, it's actually the opposite. Colombia is like any other place. Like you talk, you WhatsApp, you say, hey girl, you know, I'm on my way. She'd be like, okay, I'm right here at the gate waiting for you. Like things are just smooth. But in Cuba is where you do more of like, wow, I hope she doesn't forget. Because if she does, the whole of this thing will be like down. So that's the problem with Cuba. Like logistics in Cuba, there is internet in Cuba, but it's not that internet you're used to, you know. It's not that internet. People go to the internet like maybe at most 30 minutes, but I think for regular Cubans, they do it like maybe 15 minutes a day. or even they don't. So you can imagine. And those people who do it 15 minutes, those are people like try to find things about the world. They want to know more about the outside world, or maybe they have friends who like they keep them on track in terms of let's talk. So they have to go and check the messages. And you know, this internet, there's no internet in a house in Cuba. You have to be maybe in an exclusive hotel, 5-star, or you do the same normal thing that other people do. You buy a card and you go with the card at a park, like this national, not really national parks, public parks, where you sit down and talk. That's where you see people with phones, they be like talking, and man, even that place nowadays, it's like more of, even I saw prostitutes in those areas, because now it's like, it's this place that brings everybody, foreigners, everybody, they go to those places, and people spend even the whole night. Yeah, 24 hours you'll find people in those parks. So Cuba is good, but man, things are hard in Cuba. Things are really hard in Cuba. So Colombia is good because Colombia is so smooth, very smooth. Okay, let's talk about like the girls, okay? So this video, up to 8 minutes, will be about dating. Yeah, the girls in Cuba, they are very different from Colombians in terms of their body shapes. And actually, I'm just trying to describe what I saw. I felt like Cuban girls, they are more like into bigger bumps, you know what I mean? Bigger bumps than Colombians. Colombians are this slim model type of girls. But in Colombia also you can find like, you know what I mean? But in Cuba, it's like 70% of the girls, man. And like they are mixed race, they are black girls, mixed race, white, blonde in Cuba. In Colombia it's the same. But Colombia is like, let's say in Cuba, if you rate Cuba like 7, you'll give a Colombia 9.5. So you can imagine how Colombia is. So, and people have been asking me, should I go to Colombia or Cuba? Personally, I would say, if you just want to experience a different type of the world, go to Cuba. But if you wanna see, like, I don't know, as I already told you, it's all about what you want. If you just wanna see culture, things like that. But in terms of dating, I would prefer Colombia to Cuba. Why? Colombia has more beautiful girls and many and elite. Cuba is the opposite. Yeah, Cuba is. I was in Havana, the capital city. I lived in Colombia for 2 years, so I know what I'm speaking about, bro. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, Cuba is good, but more than 5 days in Cuba, you'll be like, man, I don't think I should stay here anymore. More than 5 days, you know? But Colombia is a place you go and you don't wanna leave. Like me, when I took my first flight from Colombia, I cried, man. Like, off Colombia, when I left Colombia, I was like, oh God. But you know, I was like, you know, everything happens for a reason. Maybe it's time I went to Cuba, it's time I went to Mexico, it's time I did something different. And that is the whole difference between Colombia and Cuba in terms of dating. Logistics, Colombia is ahead. In Colombia, you can receive money, Western Union. It's really hot, guys. Like, look where I'm filming from. That's the sun. It's really, really hot. And I don't know, I'll stand like this. Yeah, I'll stand like this. So in Colombia is a place where you'll find all types of logistics. People can send you money if you are broke. In Cuba, you can't receive money. Like me, for my case, like my cards did not work in Cuba. Like my ATMs and everything, all cards were like blocked. They didn't function in Cuba. But you know, the funny thing is, man, I could not even receive money through Western Union because I was not Cuban. You can only receive money in Cuba if you are like somebody who is sending you is family. So it must be family. Maybe the money is coming from your uncle from the US, or your money is coming from your mom, your sister. If you're not family in Cuba, you cannot receive money. Let's say you go in Cuba and you are stuck. Nobody will send you money to Cuba, trust me. It's either they send you get somebody who has like an uncle somewhere, and you tell your friend to send his uncle, then his uncle will send this friend, then this friend will give you the money. That's how it works in Cuba. But generally, I would say, man, Colombia will offer you anything you want. And I always tell people this, anything you want. You want to see beautiful mountains? Colombia. You want to see some crazy history? Colombia. Crazy architecture? Colombia. Cuba is good, but I felt like Cuba, the girls were very vulnerable, you know, very vulnerable. Cuba is that place, if you just show a little money to any girl, you can have her. I don't mean like every girl, but what I saw like in the streets, it was very vulnerable. Like young children in schools, man, they wear like shorts, man, dresses, and all the boys are like, and the girls are like excited, like, you know, I felt like it was very, very vulnerable for Cuban girls or growing in Cuba as a girl. And man, even the party nights, I think you've seen my videos, you can see all those girls walking around, and man, that's life in Cuba. But in Colombia is totally different, man. I think Colombia should not even be a third world. Colombia should be even like second world, which is like going to first class. I'm telling you, man. Because in Colombia, the girls study, they have education, they speak, many of them speak English, others have traveled around the world. So it's crazy, man. And for the females, what I realized is in Cuba, there were too many boys. Yeah, so if you're a girl going to Cuba to look for a guy, you'll definitely find, because everybody gets excited when it's like talking to a foreigner or it's a foreigner who wants to date them. That's what I realized. Like me as a foreigner in Cuba, I felt like many girls like gave me positive energy just because I was a foreigner. And that happens anyway. Even in my own country, if you're a foreigner, people give you more attention. Everywhere I go, you know, that's what it is. So guys, I think I have tried to explain this video. I was just trying to answer one question, Cuba or Colombia? Cuba will give it a 7 and Colombia will give it a 9.5 out of 10. So you have the decisions to do. For now, say bye, man. And if you're new here, kindly give this video a like, subscribe, you know, share. And I want to say thank you to my new followers. Welcome to I Am Marwa YouTube channel, okay? Yeah, thank you.
All I need is you, baby, baby.
Welcome to Colombia.